How did your friends and work colleagues respond to what you were doing, Ed?
I think half of them were surprised, but also very, very supportive. And the other ones were, after a little while, people I thought would support me didn't.
Your friends have seen the changes. They've seen the conscious changes that you were
Yes.
making to improve your lifestyle. They've seen your body changing. They were still questioning the fact you're doing it.
So why are you still doing this sort of routine?
People look at it as a temporary fix. It annoys the hell out of me.
You can't control getting old. You will get old, but you can control how you get old.
Do you think about that?
Well, all the time.
How did doing this together affected your family life? How long have you been? How long have you been here now, Ali?
Over 3 years.
Over 3 years.
Yeah.
You had
A good 18 months.
18 months, right? Okay, so a year and a half. You did it for quite a while, so a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Before you told Ed to come and see me, and that was telling. It was like you seeing low eye. Am I right?
Yeah, something like
It was booked in.
Right. He turned up really unhappy. And then I worked my magic.
Yeah.
I hypnotized you a little bit, and then you were fine. I don't think you knew what you were getting into, or the guy you're meeting. You didn't quite know how to make or what to make out of Reshape or me. And I remember this other guy who said when he saw me, he had his guard up because he thought I was also training his wife. And he was like, he's quite wealthy, and he thought, oh, I'm just trying to take their money. It's really interesting. And I put him in front of the camera a couple of weeks ago, and he said, the thing is about people that do this, they can't fake it for long. So now I know it's genuine, because it's just how low I is, and it's also how the coaches are. It's just what Reshape is. And he was speaking very highly of it. But before that, you know, to your point, you couldn't have known what you're getting into, because she pulled you into it. And being the wise man that you are, you knew you had to listen, or at least take the meeting.
Yeah.
And then you were in. Your lifestyle as a couple before Reshape, let's just go back even before you started doing it, Ali. You were like David Lloyd. There is
David Lloyd was just my membership. That was it.
coffees,
Coffee, chat.
chats with friends.
Never turned up.
So more
to
for leisure, really.
It was a
thing
leisure
than-
place.
Yeah. And then something triggered, as it happens with most people that come here. And then you wanted to make change. And it was a friend that comes
Yeah,
to Reshape
yeah.
that recommended you, and you came and...
She's been here a week,
Yeah, right.
and a week was enough for her to say,
Yeah.
you need, well, no, she didn't say you need to go there. She just told me about what she was doing, and that was it.
Yeah.
I thought, do you know what? I could do that.
Yeah. And you obviously started a new lifestyle change first, right?
Yeah.
So you started changing what you were doing because you had a goal.
I had a goal, yeah.
Yeah. And it was pretty tangible. You know, the goal was to look different.
Still look different. The main goal was we were going to Vegas, and I wanted to renew vows,
Yes.
and I wanted to look different.
Okay.
Ed didn't know we were renewing our vows.
You didn't know. That was
You
a
didn't
surprise.
know.
Surprise.
That was a
Sneaky.
surprise. That was a surprise. And I know I only had a few months to get there, but I knew I needed to look different. And I did.
Okay. So you had the goal, which is, you know, what the image you have for yourself.
Yeah.
And then you have the motive, which is Vegas. And then you start changing your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Tell me how you felt around that time when the changes started to kick in and you saw it. I don't know if it affected you so much or not, but when you started to see Ali changing her lifestyle
I
and the
was
way
very
she...
impressed.
Okay.
Because up to that point, I would say Ali had zero interest in health, fitness, didn't do anything in the gym, no exercise at all, I would say. Is that a fair comment? Without being harsh, but he didn't... Well, you went to David Lloyd for a coffee.
Yeah, okay.
For a coffee and a
So
chat.
it was quite a remarkable to stick at it, and I think within a couple of weeks,
After I'd got over the shock.
after the shock and the diet and the change, and then you saw the benefits, and you started to move towards hitting your goals. I think that inspired you further. So yeah, I was quite surprised.
Did it affect your life in any way?
It affected eating together because as part of that 12-week programme, clearly Alison was sticking to a very strict...
That wasn't initially the 12-week.
When you went really strict, when you went for that shape?
It was just 6 months.
But in that initial period, you would eat...
I would eat separately, and also I'd go out...
eating different stuff, because I wasn't as conscious about, whilst I was fit and healthy...
Eating so many vegetables, I think.
And going to the gym,
Yeah.
my diet wasn't dreadful, but it wasn't brilliant.
Yeah.
I also laid off the alcohol.
You had you told me about all these things you were eating and between cycling and sessions and stuff. I was like, nah.
Yeah.
You were still drinking and I wasn't.
Yeah. So there was little change. So there was less drinking together. Like none drinking together. I'd still drink and Alison wasn't drinking.
How did you feel about that?
It was okay. Yeah, that was fine.
You didn't like it. You didn't.
You lost
like
your drinking
it.
buddy.
You didn't like it. That was. I think that was the words.
used to.
I've lost my drinking buddy.
It takes some getting used to, because you stuck to it strictly in terms of a change of regime, both in terms of health, fitness, and diet. So it did take a little bit.
And I
of
don't think
used to.
the kids didn't like it either.
But our diet pre that was very carb heavy.
Yeah.
Right? And clearly, it's good carbs and there's bad carbs, and it was bad carb heavy. And you clearly cut that out, didn't?
And I think you thought that I was going to dictate to you because I was talking about it. They just assumed that I was dictating to them that they had to do it as well. And that's not the case. I was just... I needed someone to talk to about it.
Yeah.
So they
It's a form of support.
Weren't happy, and I was obviously training in the evenings, so I wasn't around so much.
Which is the time we'd usually drink?
Not drink, but be with the kids or have dinner. And I was eating on my own because I'd be training and I'd come back and they would have had dinner and I would be eating and they'd be like, oh, you're out again. So I do think that you and the kids struggled for quite some time.
It took a bit of getting used to.
It took a long time to get used to it.
And then when did you accept it? Or from your perspective, Ali, when did you accept it?
I don't know, actually.
When did it become like a thing that you just do and it's part of your routine, like everything else?
I would hazard a guess after you did the challenge, maybe.
No, before, because you joined when I did the challenge.
Okay.
Right before you did the challenge, you joined.
He joined and he did the 12 weeks up to Christmas type thing.
Yeah.
And I was doing the 12-week challenge at that point after you got over the initial shock.
Yeah, that took some getting...
And I thought, this is the worst thing I've ever persuaded you to do.
I was trying to do 4 meals a day and I couldn't do 4 meals a day.
And no coffee.
I had to do 3 meals a day. So the lack of caffeine, tea and coffee was a struggle. And trying to do 4 meals a day. 3 meals a day is a piece of cake.
Yeah.
Clearly not cake, that's
doing
3 meals is a lot easier. So breakfast, lunch, and having to get ready take stuff to work, make sure it's the right stuff. Rather than put out for a sandwich or a sausage roll at lunchtime. So that was quite a challenge. But I think that was easy for us together.
When we then started, although we were on completely different meal plans, it still worked.
Yeah.
And then, and the no drinking, supporting each other, because he did go back to having a drink.
So what's the difference then between you doing it by yourself initially before Ed joined, and when he did it with you? What was the difference?
The fact that we were on the same page. It was so much easier. I don't know. I would have done the 12 weeks, but I don't think I would have stuck to it quite so rigid.
Yeah.
And I think we were competing against each other.
Okay, as long as it stays nice.
It was nice, wasn't it? We did. I was adamant I was not going to stray, and so there was no way that I was going to come off plan, have any drinks, anything. And I think that spurred each other on, didn't it?
Yeah, no, we stuck to it.
We did. We went away, went to Paris, and we sat there watching people being served champagne, and we sat there with...
Rugby World Cup.
Yeah, a coffee and a water. And just sat there and he's thinking, nope, we're not going to do it.
So
we didn't.
That was.
Yeah, it was much easier.
Challenge, to be fair.
Much easier to do it together.
Fine then. Let's contrast the lifestyle that you had before, because we were talking about this before we started the cameras. the lifestyle you had before. So you get together, I don't know, maybe a few times a week and you drink? Like how often?
Just a weekend, I would
Just
say.
a weekend?
Yeah,
Right.
more the weekend.
Okay.
If you did have one, if you have it in the drink, it would just be like in the week. It would just be like.
What about
one.
stressful days? If you have a stressful day, would you pop the bottle?
No, probably not. to
Do
be
some
fair.
push-ups?
Definitely not. Definitely not. Wouldn't go
Yeah,
to.
we weren't heavy drinkers, but if you had a barbecue or a weekend, you could.
Or we
Like
you know,
social
we'd
or
drink-
chilling?
Yeah.
Social
Yeah.
or chilling. We would,
Yeah.
you know, we would drink a reasonable amount,
Yeah.
Yeah, if you started,
more than we probably admit to.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's part of the usual routine that most people, have in this
It's a
country.
social thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you become the weird one when you don't drink. So your friends start, right?
Yep, as we know.
As we know. Tell me
Yeah.
about your friends. How did they react?
I think it was 50-50. I think half of them were like really surprised. Well, they were surprised, but also very, very supportive. And the other ones were maybe after a little while I don't know, just didn't like.
You saw a
it
different
so much.
side?
Yeah, I did, and I also think maybe some of the people I thought would support me didn't, and I got support from other angles.
Yes. Were you disappointed?
Upset, I think.
Upset?
I think I was a bit upset that, some people were quite negative about it. It was like, surely you must have left by now. Why you keep doing that? And now it's like, I'm doing 6 months, and at the end of 6 months, well, aren't you leaving?
It's really common amongst women, though.
So yeah, it was a bit, and,
Men, not so much.
and sometimes even now when I go out, I don't really want to. I don't talk about it because.
They're still your friends?
So yeah,
You haven't ditched them
I
yet?
haven't ditched my friends. No, not really. No.
They're not really your friends, though. You know that, right?
No, but I keep it quiet, and
This is going out there.
yeah, great, thanks. I might not have any friends by the end of this, but no, we would originally, when I first started, people were very keen to understand what I was doing because they would see that I wasn't drinking and I was eating differently.
Here's my question.
But
Your friends have seen the changes, right?
Yeah.
So they've seen the conscious changes that you were
Yes.
making to improve your lifestyle. They've seen your body changing.
yeah,
They were still questioning the fact you're doing it. How do you explain that?
don't get me wrong, they're very proud of what I've done. And complimentary, but they say they feel like I've done it, so why am I still doing it? I think that's what it is. It's not. It's well, you've achieved your goal, so why are you still doing this sort of routine?
So there's a bit of ignorance there. So you think they believe once you achieve it, you've got it.
Maybe that's what
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, obviously, my diet isn't as strict as it was because I think, in your words, I've normalised it.
Yeah.
So
You've earned the flexibility.
and
as it
I
should be.
know what I can eat and what I can't eat, and I know that I can get back on to plan quite quickly, and it doesn't take me very much longer to get back
It's
to
become
where
a
I was.
lifestyle.
Yes.
That's it.
And if I make that decision not to drink, that's because it's my own choice, not because of anything else. It's because sometimes I feel better if I don't drink.
You're in control now.
Yeah, and then I enjoy. I'm afraid to say I do enjoy having a glass of wine, but because I want it, not because I feel pressure to have it. But I think it's like one of those things. You've achieved your goal. Why are you sticking with it?
Why didn't you go back to what you were doing before?
Or why don't? Yeah, you don't need it anymore. So why?
You go back to your old lifestyle. Okay.
But I think they feel like it is not necessarily a quick fix, but I think that's the problem. People do think this is it is a transformation.
Like a crash.
And you do it,
Yeah.
and then you go.
It's because it's diet. It's because people. Do you think that, I don't know? You're also a foreigner, Ed.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think most things that are positive, people look at it as a temporary fix, and it annoys the hell out of me. So this is me trying to convince everybody that should be a lifestyle. You should be doing this for as long as you're standing, because it will keep you healthy, independent when you're old. It will keep you standing straight, and then it will keep you having fun with your children, with your grandchildren, go on holiday. Like when you retire eventually, you can have this adventurous retirement. It's a lot better than sitting on a freaking chair in a room. And people don't see that, but surely everybody had known someone to be dependent on others or not very well when they're old. And I don't understand the contrast. A lot of people come here because their parents are ill. But people, when they're in their 40s and 50s, it hasn't, sunk in. It's a bit of a weird concept for me. The social pressure is a lot worse in the women community than it is in the men community. Men are more likely to take the piss, right? So they cover it in humor, right? Mm-hmm. And they shove a glass of beer in your face or whatever, right? It's just what men do. Women have this weird way about criticizing something, but at the same time try to make it sound like they're looking out for you. It's such a weird thing. How did your friends and work colleagues respond to what you were doing, Ed?
Well, they certainly weren't critical or judgmental. I think, as you say, it is a difference between men and women, really. They were fine with it, to be fair. But I have been to gyms, so it wasn't unusual for me to go to a gym. The diet was a bit different. Mm-hmm. The diet had an impact, and I lost quite a bit of weight. So
I think they were all quite shocked at how much weight you lost so quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think maybe a bit,
12 weeks.
yeah,
How
maybe
did they
a
react
bit
to that then?
concerned, weren't they?
Concerned.
Yeah, I think people were concerned because you had dropped that weight so quickly, whereas mine
they
had
liked you
been...
chubby? They liked you to be the chubby friend?
I'm not,
Oh, you weren't that chubby.
I was that
I can look at your scans, I don't know.
But for you, it was, you went straight into doing 12 weeks quite harsh, whereas I had a period of time where it dropped off slowly, and then I did it. So they'd already seen part of a transformation. If I'd gone right from that chubby start to where I ended up,
To be honest,
I think I was chubby throughout.
I've met you chubby. You're not anymore. But the way you started, so the gradual increase in intensity, that's just, it had to happen this way for you. And I'm being honest here. If I'd made the aggressive start that
I wouldn't have lasted.
you wouldn't. And
No.
is actually the opposite. So I believe if it was slow and boring in the beginning, I would probably lost you. You're probably like, all right, how is this any different to what I was doing before? It needed to have the impacts that it did on you to convince you that it was the right thing to do. And both of you are so much healthier now.
But you didn't need to lose. I know you did lose a lot of weight, but you didn't necessarily need to lose so much weight, or
I needed to gain some muscle.
Yeah, your toning, your figure was much better than my figure at the start.
You're right. Fatty diets don't work, so you can't really. If you do a fatty diet, you might lose a bit of weight, but as soon as you stop that diet, you'll just put it back on again.
That's right.
So it has to be lifestyle.
This is how people grow up here, right? So I think that the criticism, most of the time when you start doing something and you stick at it, good or bad, I think this is the mindset.
Yeah. And you're right, you can't control getting old. You will get old, but you can control how you get old,
Yes.
how you are in your later years. So,
Do you think about that?
well, all the time. This is an investment in my health
Yeah,
and
for sure.
mental well-being, really.
For sure.
So it costs a bit of money, but it's an investment, isn't it?
Yeah, you have kids that are teenagers, right?
Yeah.
So how many have you got?
3.
How old?
16, 18 and 21.
Okay. So one day they're gonna hopefully have babies.
Not too soon.
You never know. But there are stages in your adult lives, and that obviously marks a very important stage, being a grandparent. And the one thing that I think about all the time is that I haven't actually met my granddad, my father's father. I haven't met him, but I hear things, or even my father's mother. I haven't met her, and I wonder sometimes. They were both sick and they passed away, and I wonder what kind of relationship I would have had, because they lived in the countryside of Egypt, really chilled. They had grape trees, and it was like their house was very beautiful. There was a lot of nice stuff, and I was wonder, like, sometimes I imagine playing with them around the garden and stuff, but I never got this opportunity. And I think for anyone who's approaching his 50s, I think you owe it to yourself and to your grandchildren, even if they're not here yet, to be healthy and independent. I'm in my 30s and I think about this all the time. I think about, you know, my kids and when they have kids and how independent I'm going to be. Actually, my worst nightmare is to be dependent on somebody when I'm older.
Yeah.
Because of my character. I imagine you think the same.
Yeah.
But I think you miss out on too much, not being healthy and not being strong and not being able to do stuff. So for me, the vanity comes into it. So you obviously trained, your reason was to look good in Vegas. But if you do it right, the two happens together, and then eventually you realize the gain or the benefit is a lot more than the vanity aspect of it, because you're able to do stuff, and that is the most important thing, in my opinion.
Well, we laugh, don't we, when we go out and do stuff, and it's you and I at the front.
Yeah.
When we did cycling in Australia at Christmas, and you and I were at the front, and the kids were, can we just stop and have a rest? And we were like, the two oldest, and we kept going, didn't we?
Yeah.
But I couldn't have done that 3 years ago. I was the one at the back. And I noticed that in lockdown, didn't I?
Yeah.
It's all the abuse that we do to you, isn't it?
So, you know, I was slow. Whereas
What about you?
now-
What about you, Ed? You said you were obviously. We spoke about this when I initially met you in the consult, and you told me about the cycling. You told me about the gym and everything you were doing.
Yeah.
How much different is your fitness now?
I'm much stronger, so I've got a lot more muscle, and I'm a lot stronger. I do less cycling because I can't fit it all in, to be fair, so a bit less CV. But yeah, I think I'm pretty fit.
How is that impacting your life now? How is it different?
I think I've got a pretty good balance, to be fair, in terms of health, fitness and work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty comfortable. I've been here 18 months, and I will keep it up as long as I can. Lengthening the positive years where you're fit and healthy, because you never know what's around the corner. So you should try and keep as fit as you can be.
The silly argument? I'll just say this about your progress also. A lot of it was aesthetics. I mean, I don't know if you intended it to be this way, but the weight loss that your friends were concerned about is actually translated in a completely different physique in all the positive ways. So people don't see that. So the worst thing you could do is perhaps take the judgment of someone who does not understand or not aware of what you're doing. It's a really bad idea. Because you can ask me about finance. I can give you advice. I'll give you a terrible advice though. But if you'd like me and you trust me, if we're friends, that's dangerous. Because if you listen to me, it will do more damage than good. You can ask me about nutrition. Even if you don't like me, I will still give you something valid. A lot of people don't like me, as you know. Yeah. So
I think you've got to make your own judgments, haven't you, really? Whatever anyone else says, you need to be comfortable in what you're doing, and if you're happy, you should continue doing it, really. Not be influenced by others who might have negative opinions or want to lead you astray, and etc. If you think it's right, you should keep doing it.
you see, do you know what the silly thing is? If I put this argument to somebody who's comfortable, because there are feelings and then there are objectivity. If you're an emotional person and you're just led by your feelings all the time, you probably avoid everything that is uncomfortable, which will then result in all the bad things. I've seen this, and I work with people who have entertained the comfort zone for too long, and then they come here and they're genuinely messed up and they need the help only when they're in trouble because they're forced to be objective. So I can put this argument of, hey, you should think about your health when you're 60, you should do something now, you should invest, you should really carve out a portion of your day to look after yourself in that way. They might pull up an example of a friend of theirs that had cancer when they were 40 and it's something you can't control and your health is blah blah blah, and people pull these silly arguments. But you have to look at the controllables, you have to look at giving yourself the best chance of being healthy and fit, because these are the things that you can't control. Because I promise, there's one thing that I think is guaranteed for everybody. If you have a chance at improving something and you don't, you kick yourself later on because you had control over it. And then if you get ill uncontrollably, then it is what it is. So
Yeah, I agree totally.
yeah. So how did we spoke a little bit earlier about your kids and how they responded to this transformation thing, and especially that day when you had your daughter's outfit on the shoot day when we did the shoot. Talk to me about that a little bit. How old's your daughter?
Well, she's about to turn 19 next week. So she was 17 at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
she's fit, right?
And she's fit. She was still was, wasn't she, an elite gymnast? So she's for 10 years, over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
She's fit. I wouldn't necessarily say her diet was the healthiest, but training the hours she did, she didn't need to think about her food. But yeah, the day that I went through her drawers and said, I need an outfit, I need a top, and then realised that the whole outfit fitted. Yeah, I mean, for me, I was like, wow. For her, she was like, get that off.
It's the change again, isn't it?
It was the fact that she is very tiny and petite, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly her mum was moving towards, I mean, I'm not saying I'm her size at all, but I was moving towards it. And
she didn't think it was right, did she?
She didn't think it was right. She really did.
There's some challenges there.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
No,
she
I'm not
just,
sure, really.
I don't know. I think they felt that I'd lost too much weight. They thought I'd gone too slim as opposed to skinny. Probably, in fact, they would probably say it was skinny.
At the end of the challenge, you probably had a little bit.
I had probably lost a bit too much by the end of the
last couple
challenge.
of weeks of that challenge period.
I did feel like I had lost.
Yeah, I agree.
A bit too much.
Yeah.
But I always knew I was going to fill out a little bit afterwards.
Yeah, of course, yeah. That was never meant to be the sustainable
No,
thing.
I couldn't keep that.
Yeah, of
God,
course.
not at all. I can't, yeah.
The
But
pictures look good, though. So it paid off. Now you have the pictures for life.
I'd like them.
When you're your grandmother, you can show your grandkids.
I have got them on my phone.
Yeah? Okay.
I'm going to have them properly one day, aren't I?
You will.
Thank you.
You will.
That's on camera.
Yes, it's on camera.
That's on camera. I'm going to get my photos.
You will get your
15
photos.
months on. Fantastic.
Yes.
But yeah, I think they were, and I think they were pleased when they, at the end of that challenge, that we were stopping. I think there was just so much. I woke up in the mornings thinking about reshape training, eating. I went to bed thinking about it. It did consume me a bit, and I think
You're a bit more relaxed about it.
it took over my life, and I think they really struggled. And I think particularly Emma, who was very close to all my kids, but Jack was away. Was he away at uni at that point, or at school? And yeah, I think she just thought it had just taken up too much of my life and struggled a bit.
There's also the identity thing, and the same thing happened with your friends.
Yeah.
I say this from honestly a place of experience, because a lot of people experience this when they transform. There's your identity that people have in their heads about you. There's all the things that make you up in their head, and the minute you start changing that, the closer they are to you, the more they struggle. And so your daughter will probably thinking, oh, I've known my mum for so long to be this mum.
Yeah.
And then you start changing, which is uncomfortable for everybody.
Yeah, and it was not just the appearance, was it? It's my appearance had changed, my outlook had changed, my lifestyle had changed.
And she liked you before, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we joke about the beach whale, which was potentially one of the comments that helped me, give me a shove to doing something. They used to laugh about it.
I remember that.
Yeah.
You told me about that.
So.
Can you remind me what that story was?
We were learning to surf in Cornwall, and might have slightly struggled always getting up on the surfboard, and they say they didn't say it, but it was definitely said that they referred to me as a beach whale.
How did you find out?
So I'm sure I heard them.
Really, you said it to you.
I'm sure they said it to me. And there was another one. I bought this lovely dress to go on holiday, that particular holiday, and I put it on, and I said to Emma, can you do the zip up? And because I couldn't do the zip up on the back, and she went to do it, and she said, oh, I'll have to take a run at this. And we couldn't get the zip done up, and I'd only bought it a few weeks before. And it was a while. It was another 6 months before I joined Reshape, but that probably was one of the starting of
the triggers.
Some things not
As you
right.
get older, keeping weight off is quite difficult.
Yeah.
So you do need to do something radical. And, I think this process has been reasonably radical in terms of changing.
Well, then, but then I turned 50, and I had a great time. Don't get me wrong, I had a great birthday, even though it was coming out of lockdown. And then I saw the photos, and thought, yeah.
And you don't notice it's gradual, isn't it?
Yeah, and I didn't notice.
Yes.
I didn't realise.
It's easy to notice now.
I look back
How
on them
you're
now and
completely
think, wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Look at those cheeks.
This is
They
why the
were
pictures always bring
huge.
it home. This is why when we put the pictures up in front of everybody, it always brings it home. And a lot of people say, I don't remember myself being like that.
No.
To that picture,
And
yeah.
I don't remember being like that.
Yeah.
You say you were never that big, and all my friends used to say, but you were never big. I don't understand why you're doing it. You were never big, and I was like, yeah, I was bigger than you think.
But what did they say when they saw the pictures?
What, the before?
The two pictures together.
They were shocked
Right.
because they all say, I never saw you as being that size.
It's because they normalized it. They normalized the old Ali. He was just like part of their
Yeah,
weekly
I
life,
suppose, yeah.
right? You don't think anything of it because
And
you've
just
normalized
happy
it.
and never, I don't think I ever really moaned. I know you may disagree, but I didn't used to moan about my weight.
You love a moan.
Only
It's the only thing you didn't moan about?
Only to myself. I did get upset looking at myself in the mirror.
Diet works. Going on a diet doesn't work.
But the
Yes.
other thing that worked was being accountable.
Okay.
That knowing I had to report in that,
Accountability.
that
Human nature.
Yeah, that was it.
It's the same reason you have bosses at work.
I needed somebody to say, well, that's great, or what the hell have you done? Or, what is happening? And to have that, I needed that log to see where it was going. And once I started to see it, it was like...
I know you make
Wow.
out you make out that you don't like my mean side, but I think you like it. It's useful. Because without it, Reshape wouldn't exist.
You're right. We could maybe tone that down a bit.
I'll try. I'm getting old and soft now. So,
I would never say you're getting soft.
do you know something? Before I had children, before I had the girls, I was actually a lot harsher. They have changed me. Yeah, it was a bit extreme. I have one thing to ask. If you go back to the days, this is really the two of you, because you've had different things that you were doing, Ed, and you came to Reshape and obviously changed a couple of more things, and then things started happening. People, we were laughing about this earlier. When people call it the cult, because it's seen as something that controls your life, I hope for the benefit of you, but also people do well here. Like, we put a lot of transformations out that are not possible, and a lot of these people have tried so many different things before and they still failed for so many years. Like, some people with 20-30 years, they've just been failing, chronic failures, and now they come here and within 3 to 6 months they completely transform. So I don't have a problem with the term cult, if that's what it means. I want to hear from you what you think made the difference. You go first, Ed. What do you think made the difference to this? And why is it viewed as a cult?
What makes the difference? Like setting a proper goal, so understanding what you aim to achieve over a set period is very useful, because if you just go into a gym week in, week out, you haven't really got a goal, so you won't achieve much because you're not setting out to achieve anything. So I think setting a goal, accountability is very important. The mix of gym work and diet is crucial, because you can't out-train a bad diet really, so you need to do two things together. And I think you've got some very good coaches here, to be fair, and you've managed to keep them all. So in reality, I've been here 18 months and you've got an odd new coach, but the coaches we when I started are still here.
It's the ones that fit in the culture, I think.
Yeah. And when you think about if you looked at other gyms,
the turnover is
churn
high.
of staff will be quite high. So you've kept staff, which I think is important. So I think all those things is what's made it successful for me. So you've got to make in your own mind, set yourself a goal, agree the goal, and then set out on the journey really. In terms of cult, it's a term that's just bandied about in reality. It's not meant to be a negative thing. I think it is purely about we have an influential guy at the top, yourself, quite enigmatic and with a strong personality and character. So that leads somewhere to being a bit of a cult. And I think the whole dynamics about changing your lifestyle, being focused on reshape, I think that is why we end up referring to it occasionally as a cult.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it, honestly. I just wonder the outside view, because I can never, just like you can never be objective towards your own self, you need a coach. I don't think I'm objective towards what reshape actually is or how it's viewed by other people outside of reshape. And a lot of people that haven't done reshape, they call it a cult because that's their understanding of it.
Yeah. You're booked onto X amount of sessions a week, and you have to stick with them.
The structure, yeah.
It's the structure of having those sessions, and in my head, I've paid for those sessions. I'm not going to let them go.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I do Pilates at David Lloyd, but I could cancel, and it doesn't really make any difference.
It's an option.
It's an option that I go or I don't go. So if I get up in the morning and think, I don't feel like it, it's not really making much of a difference. To me, in my head, although I have paid for it, I've not individually paid for that session.
Yes.
Whereas here, I don't think I've ever cancelled.
That is an impressive statement.
I have done.
Yeah.
I've
Really
you know,
good, yeah.
I've been ill and I've had to call in and say I can't make it, but I've never got up and thought. I have got up and thought I don't want to go, but I've gone. I've never ever just not turned up. So like this morning when I came in and I could see that Octave only had 5 in, and I knew that was on a waiting list this week. It's like, how does that happen? Where are those people? Are they losing their sessions? That's not right. Because I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I've never ever just not turned up to a session. I've never go. Yeah. And for me, that is how it's kept me going.
Yeah.
Because I know on a weekly basis I have to do X amount of sessions.
It's definitely a big part of the success that you've realised here as well. Sessions are very important, and it's the thing that I say, even after you transform, you have to have as a staple in your lifestyle. It's the thing that will keep you young and healthy. There's no question about it. We didn't know anything, other than exercise or that keeps you healthy and strong and fit in your older later years than exercise.
But as Dante always says, think about why you're here. You've got up at 7 in the morning. You're here now. Why are you here?
Yeah.
Don't go through the motions.
Yeah.
Great
question.
And I still get asked, and how many sessions are you doing now a week? And I'll say, just 4. Are you still doing 4 sessions a week? Yeah. But that's because, and there's but you must know enough now to go and do it by yourself. You're right, but I wouldn't do it.
Talk to a couple that perhaps is struggling now with a lot of different things, bad habits and bad practices, and maybe because these things do affect relationships. When you're not happy in yourself, you're obviously not shining, and people around you suffer. Nevertheless, your kids also feel it. A lot of people don't think about this so much, but it definitely does. How did doing this together affected your family life?
What is us as a couple together, or
the whole
family?
It was easy. It was easy doing it. For us together, it was easy doing it together because you have common goals and some commonality in terms of what you're doing outside of the home. You
could actually stick up for me once you joined as to why I was doing it. I don't
think it's impacted the family life so much over the last 12 months. I think because kids change, kids get older.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
They've just accepted it. They've accepted it. But I would say our diet, we've impacted on them a bit. Yeah. Not like stupidly. We don't tell them that they can't have, you're not allowed sweets, you're not allowed this, you're not allowed to drink. But
I sometimes roll my eyes.
You do. Yeah. But main meals, I know a lot of people cook separately. I won't do that.
Right. Yeah.
They have the same. I might adapt it very slightly.
That is a huge change, though. That is really, really positive.
I do. Yeah. We have reduced, as you say, the carbs. We've increased the vegetables, but they eat more vegetables, more than we ever used to eat.
So I think on the negative side, I'm a bit more judgy about what they're eating.
Yeah.
To be fair.
Why is that negative?
Well, it's negative from their point of view. It's not negative from mine.
Okay.
So, and it's not.
In the Colts' point of view, it's very positive.
It is, but it's hard for them to.
Yeah, they're not so keen on
They're
that.
not so keen on
However, within particularly our, I would say more, particularly our evening meals, they eat the same as us, don't they? And we've influenced
their.
their.
We used to pre-reshape. We used to eat together.
Yeah, but rubbish.
But certainly not as good a diet.
Because I know that people do say, "Oh, it's difficult because I'm prepping my meal and I have to prep for the children and that," and I just say that might have been to start with, but then we just started doing the same. And I have to say, I used to get cross, didn't I? Because when I was doing the challenge bit and I was trying to prep for like X amount of days and I'd religiously weighed everything out, and then they'd come along and take a portion of my meal. I think, well, that's mine. That means I've got one less day.
These are numbers. These are not foods.
I'm like,
You've just taken 20 grams of protein away from my...
just like that's day 5 you've just taken away. Give it back. And that's when they started eating more and more, and they realised that actually our food was all right. And you know, I'd still give them some pasta, and I wouldn't have the pasta. So we just normalised it to make it part of our life.
They'll get the benefit when we're not old and decrepit, when we're
Yes.
65 and 70.
Yes.
We're still hopefully
100%.
active and on our feet.
As I say, I would potentially say that we're always up the front on whatever we're doing.
Why do you do so much legs?
Why do we do so much legs?
Yeah, a lot of
Biggest
legs.
muscle.
There's a good answer for that. So, one of the reasons we know people are going to die soon is when they can't keep the balance, is when they start falling over. That's been established now. And the reason we do legs is for a few different benefits. Part of it is hormonal. So as a man, training legs will enhance the good hormones. So your testosterone, there's more of it, and you definitely need that as you age. Growth hormone also responds really well to big muscle groups when they're under a lot of metabolic stress and pressure. So the physiological benefit is keeping you lean, keeping you with a decent amount of muscle mass, but also keeping your legs healthy so you don't fall over when you're older. Because your legs are the wheels that carry your body, and if you're able to stand, walk, run, climb, hike when you're old, that is a testimony to perhaps a long, healthy life, which is what we aim for. We train people not just to look good, we try to combine the aesthetics and the health, which is why we do so much legs. A lot of guys don't like it because it hurts. It doesn't mean they shouldn't do it though.
No, don't,
It's not just-
don't skip legs there.
Nope.
It's not just men. Why burpees?
I've got a question for you.
Why
Here's a
burpees?
question.
Yeah, why burpees? Because they're hideous.
When are we refurbing the Ipswich gym?
I'm actually thinking about it. So I was gonna insulate the roof first because the building is really hard.
Yeah.
The building is really old and the heat escapes. This is the hard thing about it. So the only thing we could do, I've got people around and I've asked the professionals. We have to insulate the roof. We have to block everything up top to prevent the air from escaping, and then from there it will be an easier project. But I'm now in the process of renewing the lease actually, so I can't do too much to it.
Right.
But it is on my mind.
That was a question you'd have asked, wouldn't you?
That sounds
I
more
like
a whinge.
Ipswich.
No, it's not a
No, it's
whinge.
not. I like Ipswich. I like
Not from you,
Ipswich.
but from here it will probably sound more like a whinge.
I've never
You
trained
always
in this,
think I'm
this,
whinging.
this posh gym.
You
I've always-
haven't. You should do it.
Ipswich suits where I work. It's somewhere I live. It's quite easy.
I'll give you access anyway, so just in case.
Yeah, they're on my sessions.
You can see them. Okay.
I can see them. Yeah.
It's a different feeling. Training here.
Yeah.
It's completely different.
It's valuable.
And I go between the
You see,
two.
we've taken Fred from Ipswich on the morning. He's here on the morning now, isn't he?
Yes, sometimes.
I used to do my 7 o'clock Monday and Tuesday sessions with Fred, but
You
now
miss him?
I've got on.
So I've got a bit of a question. It is about
He's got
training
loads of
early.
questions now.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was told that all the power sessions came off early, like the first thing in the morning, because we shouldn't be training then.
Yes.
Why?
So,
That's a good question.
yeah, it is a really good question. So the question really is about when do you perform hard sessions to the best of your ability? And this is not a very common answer, so most people don't know this. But it's when your body temperature is at its highest naturally without having to do a warm-up. That doesn't really happen in the morning for most people. It's a pretty individual thing, but for most people it's not the morning. Afternoons, evenings, actually, most people, where the body temperature is at its highest. And it makes a lot of difference to the way you perform, which then makes a lot of difference to the way you progress. So hard sessions should be performed afternoons or evenings.
But surely those people who are doing the power and the beast are potentially fitter and stronger than the people who are doing the lower level at beginning, but they can train.
Still will feel like a step down for you. If you want to do an elite in the morning, you just have to accept it's a step down from doing a beast. It is not the same.
No, I don't mean like but why can't we do power first thing in the morning? Because we are the fact that someone like we both do power and beast.
Because you'll be the only one in that session probably. If we put a couple in the week, most powers and beasts don't want to train early in the morning.
You do. I do.
Yes, there's 2 people.
There'll be a lot more out there. They'll come here and do the elite, but they're power people and they're only doing the elite.
I want to say something. Oh my god.
Really? Go on then.
You both have come a very long way after doing this. 3 years, a year and a half.
Yes.
And I hope you continue as long as you're able to train, which is forever. And inspire people around you. Don't worry so much about your friends and negative opinion about your positive lifestyle. You always come around and they ask you how you did it when you succeed. So I'm proud of you both. And I love training couples because of what you said today and making the difference and the impact. And you are now part of the cult. We'll keep it this way.
We are.
We are.
Cheers, Lai.
You're welcome.
Thank you.